how people are trying to find a way to peace. There's a lot of different groups that are involved in this, and many of them do go back to Iran, who wants to see Israel, the Jewish state, eradicated. They do not believe that they are rightfully there. And so that brings a lot of issues because they have these proxy groups, Hezbollah to the north, Hamas to the west, and they fund them ultimately to go after Israel.
Lindsay Keith is with us from our nation's capital as our political director and also does a lot of foreign reporting as well. But I want you to just look behind me real quick because we have some images that are coming in on Instagram. We've been scrolling through them on the feed too, but you can see what's left of that bus. You see the big, obviously, fireball. There are reports that 3 different buses have exploded. There are also reports that 2 other buses, you can see, I mean, this is a bus barn, right? You see the buses here, you see buses up here with this one on fire and this one back here, and firefighters on scene working and really just starting their investigation. There are now reports that the IDF is being told to intensify operations against refugee camps in Judea and Samaria. And also, I'm reading here, this according to the Times of Israel, nobody hurt in these explosions, but sources are telling them there's evidence that they were on timers set to go off Friday morning. All right? So think about that. That tells you that this was a coordinated, planned attack. If true, again, we're relying on reporting from the Times of Israel, that these were set to go off Friday morning in a busy Tel Aviv, mass transportation, a lot of people use it. Bus is a very popular mode of travel there. I want to bring in Michael Prejant. He's a senior counterterrorism analyst. Michael, thank you for joining us. Your thoughts on what you're seeing and what you're hearing coming out of Tel Aviv tonight?
Well, a lot of it's preliminary, right? We're hearing that 3 buses definitely exploded and 2 other buses had bombs on them. And like you said, all the information I'm seeing is that it was planned. This was a high casualty producing event that was planned to take place tomorrow during the busy morning rush hour, I believe. And that it would have killed hundreds. So great that this was averted. Apparently, the Prime Minister is having an emergency meeting right now with his national security advisors. And this is, it's fortunate that this happened at night when nobody's on these buses, and the operation, if it is a terrorist operation, has now been thwarted, or at least this aspect of it. So we're just going to have a wait and see attitude. But this would have been a destabilizing event that would have ended the ceasefire tomorrow morning. It would have been another October 7th like style event, and it'll be interesting to see what Prime Minister Netanyahu does about this.
Michael, based on your experience and expertise, again, you're right. We're in the initial phases of the investigation. They're still trying to figure out if there are more bombs in buses around town, right? I mean, that's where you start. You start with what you know and you work out from there. Who potentially could be behind this?
Well, there are some reports again on social media saying that Hamas is taking credit for this attack. Again, we were early stages. If Hamas did this, then they have no interest in a ceasefire. But Hamas isn't militarily ready for Israel to respond to something like this. So this could be another organization acting on behalf of Hamas to conduct an attack in order to thwart the ceasefire. We just have to wait and see. If this is a Hamas attack, they're not ready for what's coming. So I'm not sure why they would do that, especially on the eve after they sent back, unfortunately, 4 dead bodies.
Right.
And we know what a tragedy that was today. And that alone may prompt a response by Netanyahu. But this coupled with that, I mean, the Prime Minister right now, he's meeting with his national security advisors trying to get all the information. But this looks, it is evil, but it would also be very stupid if Hamas did this.
Well, let's hone in on that. I mean, what's the message here, right? If you're invoking terror on the Israeli people, you've done that, but you also could have opened up Pandora's box. What's the message you think whoever's behind this is trying to send?
Well, one thing I know about the ceasefire is that it is so weak that it basically just called on Hamas to stop military operations from Gaza, rocket attacks, any border skirmishes. This isn't that. This is a traditional terrorist attack, going back to the playbook, blowing up buses, right? So this wouldn't be part of the ceasefire in a way. And we also have to be looking at Nasrallah's, Nasrallah's death. Lebanese Hezbollah has a reach. Other terrorist groups have reaches like Palestinian Islamic Jihad. But Nasrallah is getting ready to be, there's going to be a huge gathering in Lebanon. Representative Joe Wilson warned people, or basically said, if you go to Nasrallah's memorial, then you are standing with Iran. So this could be different things. A key Hezbollah operative was killed yesterday in a drone strike in southern Lebanon. Even though there is a ceasefire, it doesn't keep Israel from conducting drone attacks against high-value targets.
Right.
And this may be some sort of response. There's just a lot here right now.
Yeah, Michael, I want to get our viewers back to our regular programming here on Dr. Phil's Merit TV, but I do have one important final question. When you hear the rhetoric coming out of the White House where Donald Trump a week ago said, hey, we need the rest of the hostages released by, at the time it was Saturday at noon, or else all hell will break loose. And now he's going to get reports of this. He's seeing the same images we're seeing. Does this bring in a different message from the United States? Does this mean we put boots on the ground? What potentially could happen in that region from our standpoint here at home?
I'll have a different take on this. The president has issued that threat twice now. All hostages need to be released by the time I take office. And then all hostages need to be released by Saturday at noon, and that passed without any U.S. response. So this may actually be a result of our enemies not believing the threat, not believing that all hell is going to break loose. You have to look at it like that too. I've been taught to think like the enemy for 30 years. And if I heard a commander-in-chief make 2 threats and not follow through with those, then I would feel like I have a green light to conduct attacks like this.
Yeah. All right, Michael.
As an enemy,
Sure.
not as an American.
No, I understand.
Combatant.
I understand.
Right.
Well, thank you for that additional context this afternoon, Michael. We do appreciate it. We've been waiting to hear from President Trump. He was supposed to give us a briefing from the East Room of the White House this afternoon. It was supposed to start just over an hour ago, honoring Black History Month. You see the podium is set up. The White House correspondents are there in the room awaiting when that happens. We will bring that to you right here on Dr. Phil's Merit TV. But again, quickly recapping, 3 bombs have exploded on 3 different buses near Tel Aviv. Officials now saying, according to multiple reports, that 2 other explosive devices have been found on other buses that did not detonate. And there are reports that all of these bombs were supposed to go off tomorrow morning during the rush hour, which, as Michael just pointed out, could have left hundreds of people killed. Much more tonight on the News on Merit TV. I'm Chris Gutierrez. Now back to your regularly scheduled program right here on Dr. Phil's Merit TV.
Come on in here and face the wall. Spread your feet.
All right. So what happened?